Hi, I'm Audrey Swisher, and I was asked to share my story about a special little girl who now is my daughter. In the year of 2000, there was an older mom that in the country of Bulgaria walked into a hospital, no insurance. She already had 7 pregnancies, and she had given her last child up for adoption because she was being beat by her alcoholic husband, and here she came in again, but this time with twins. She was already delivering Jacob breech, but he came out okay, but he was only 2 pounds. And then here came Raegan, and she was also breech, but she got caught in mom, and she suffered a brain injury from lack of oxygen. She also was, I think, a little under 2 pounds, but by a miracle of God, they survived because they don't get good health care. But she did. She survived. She was a fighter. At age 2.5, we became aware of their situation just by a Christian radio station. And it was a saying from the missionary that was on the radio station: if you can see the little girl resting her head on her big brother's shoulders, you know they can't be separated, so please call. That started Raegan and Jacob's journey. Raegan, when we got to see her, was 2.5 years old. She was very little. She has cerebral palsy. And the first time she saw me, they didn't speak our language, but she saw me and reached out her hands, and I knew she was mine. When we got that radio announcement on our kitchen radio, they were saying that couldn't be separated. And when I talked to the missionary couple, what had happened was that there was a Spanish couple that wanted Jacob because he was normal, and they were going to separate him. They were going to adopt Jacob out, and in that country and many third world countries, handicapped children don't get a chance. They really don't. Jacob would have been traveling into Spain, and Raegan would have been left behind. What handicapped children get at the age of 3, that's why it was so important, and the window was so rushed for us to try and get over there and speak for both of them, is because the Bulgarian laws were changing, and Raegan would have been, her name would have been lifted out of the system, therefore really just not existing. And what they do, to what we heard anyway, is that they have kind of farmhouses that they put the handicapped children in, and they have a bed, and they might have a TV and meals provided, and that's where they live. Raegan wouldn't have survived. So we were just so thankful God put Jacob and Raegan in our hearts and then in our family. They came to the United States. Like I said, Jacob was great. Raegan was suffering from spastic cerebral palsy. She could not walk. She could not speak our language. She didn't verbalize anything. Well, to fast forward, we have Raegan. She's 16 now. Some surgeries ago, and also this is her second AmTryke, which we are thrilled to get. We live in the country. Our other kids, being older than her, had their own bikes, and she saw them riding their bikes, and she couldn't do it. And so it opened so much independence. And probably within 3 months of having her first trike, she was going probably 4 or 5 miles at a time in the country. She just loved it. We just had to steer her away from the ditches. She couldn't quite handle that, but she did great.